Welcome viewers to the Saturday, January 27th edition of To It For News. I'm Jacka Wooding, bringing you our top stories from this week. Thank you so much for joining us. We begin with news that the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force has charged an additional male suspect in relation to the armed robbery that took place at a House of Luxury jewelry store at the Cyril B. Romney Tortola Pier Park in July 2023. More in this report. The suspect, identified as 32-year-old Vernon Bernard of Manuel Reef, has been charged with robbery, handling stolen goods, and possession of the proceeds of criminal conduct. Bernard is expected to appear before a magistrate's court at the next available sitting. He joins 35-year-old Shamu Mitchell and 27-year-old Jelani Marquis, who have also been charged in relation to this incident. This is not Bernard's first run-in with the law. Back in 2018, he was arrested and charged with unlawful possession of a firearm and taken conveyance related to the murder of Trumaine Passion Dawe. Ultimately, however, he was found not guilty when a judge returned with a ruling in favor of the defense, stating that he upheld a no-case submission after considering the evidence presented by the prosecution. He stated that the evidence simply was not strong enough to proceed with a case against Bernard and his co-defendants. The robbery currently in question occurred in July 2023 when the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force responded to reports of an armed robbery at Tortola Pier Park. Two masked men were dressed in white and entered a prominent business and made off with jewelry from the showcase. The masked bandits fired shots into the air while making their escape. However, no injuries were reported. The Royal Virgin Islands Police Force continues to appeal to anyone who may have witnessed the robbery or can provide any information, no matter how insignificant it may seem, to contact the RVIPF Intelligence Unit at 368-9339. Alternatively, persons can give this information anonymously to Crime Stoppers at 800-8477. That's 800-8477. For To It For News, I am Jacka Wooding. In response to an armed robbery report, officers of the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force executed a search warrant on a private premises in Virgin Gorda last week. This operation resulted in an unexpected drug bust on the sister island, leading to the arrest of 4 individuals: Bob George, Bakambi George, Gabriela Vidalis George, and a 17-year-old male, all residents of Virgin Gorda. The charges against these individuals include unlawful possession of cannabis with intent to supply, stemming from the discovery made during the executed search. Following their arrest, each individual was granted bail in the amount of $10,000. They are now scheduled to appear at a magistrate's court in March. While these arrests are connected to the reported armed robbery, the investigation into the robbery itself is ongoing. Officers continue to actively pursue all leads to ensure that the perpetrators are brought to justice. The police force encourages individuals with any information regarding the robbery to come forward and assist with the ongoing investigation. Confidential tips can also be submitted to Crime Stoppers at 800-8477, and those with pertinent information can also contact the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force Intelligence Unit at 368-9339. The RVIPF remains dedicated to keeping the community informed and safe. In other news, the British Virgin Islands experienced a significant increase in tourism arrivals in 2023, with a total of 994,253 visitors, marking a 90% increase compared to 2022. The month of March was the most popular, attracting 138,472 visitors across all categories. In an exclusive interview with To It For Media, Junior Minister for Culture and Tourism, the Honorable Luce Hart-Smith, reflected on this success and acknowledged the impactful role of the Ministry of Communications and Works in growing the BVI's presence as a cruise ship destination.
We are very close to an extremely high number, even higher number of tourist visitors here to our territory. And the last time I spoke in terms of the numbers, it was close to 800 and something thousand visitors that we were able to see here in the BVI. And that was when I spoke at the House of Assembly during the budget debate. So, of course, the numbers have increased over that period. And this is visitors that we have as overnight visitors, cruise visitors, and day trippers. Day trippers, of course, are just those that come for a few hours, like the cruise visitors, and overnight are those that stay at least 24 hours on our shores. They are considered overnight visitors, and 24 hours and more. So basically, I would attribute this high number of visitors thus far to the high number of our cruise passengers. And the high number of our cruise passengers, of course, increased due to the efforts of the government, and specifically through the Ministry of Communications and Works, Honorable Kai Reimer, who's responsible for the BVI Ports Authority, who is connection to the cruise industry, and the efforts last year or some time ago to increase the number of our cruise lines coming to the territory.
The majority of visitors arrived via cruise ships, with a total of 719,519 cruise ship visitors. The BVI welcomed 261,445 overnight visitors, with a 50% increase from 2022, and 13,289 day trippers visited the BVI in 2023, marking a 104% increase compared to 2022. On its current trajectory, 2024 is likely to be a record-breaking year for tourism in the BVI. And viewers, with that, we take a quick word from our sponsors. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
One Stop Auto, located in the R&R Malone Complex, Parkwood Pond, is having a huge liquidation sale on all inventory, excluding vehicles and genuine Toyota and Lexus parts. Get no less than 50% off all items on shelves and inventory room. Items such as car covers, steering wheel covers, wipers, sealants, chemicals, emergency cones, adhesives, license plates frames, air filters, oil filters, front brakes, rear brakes, front rotors, rear rotors, radiators, shocks, and much more. A specific listing of all makes and models for which parts are available at liquidation prices will be posted on our Facebook page.
Start the year off with more speed, more downloading, more savings, and more fire. CCT Fiber Internet gives you the speed you need to keep the whole family connected. Packages starting at $119 with speeds from 300 megabytes per second, super fast, unlimited downloads, even more reliable connectivity, plus free live streaming TV for the family to enjoy. Sign up for the absolute best fiber internet service in the BVI CCT Fire and pay no installation fee. Plus, get CCT Live TV for free. You deserve more. Get more with CCT. Life Unlimited.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. With a record-breaking surge in cruise ship visitors in 2023, concerns linger about the economic implications for the BVI. This report explores the community's discontent, the historical data, and the economic intricacies of the cruise ship industry. Members of the public and tourism practitioners across the territory have expressed discontent with the trajectory of the BVI's tourism sector as the cruise ship industry increases its market share. Following announcements by the government of the Virgin Islands that the territory had recorded its second highest number of visitor arrivals in 2023, members of the public were disheartened by the fact that cruise ship visitors accounted for over 70% of that total. It was later confirmed that 2023 was a record-breaking year for cruise ship arrivals in the BVI, with the most cruise ship visitors ever recorded. Doubt surrounding the value of the cruise ship industry to the BVI's economy has existed for some time now. A report titled Issues and Challenges in Caribbean Cruise Ship Tourism, published by the Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean, ECLAC, in 2005, recorded protests in the territory that year, showcasing the discontent of the community with the growing cruise ship industry at the time. The report said, quote, "In the British Virgin Islands, people began to protest the increase in cruise ship visitors from 122,000 in 1995 to 466,000 in 2005, as it was perceived that these numbers would have a negative impact on BVI's tourism product and earnings. There has been little headway in addressing those concerns nearly a decade later, with members of the public still very critical of the impact of the cruise ship industry on the BVI's economy. While reports on tax collections are present in the estimate of revenue in the budget estimates, to date there remains a gap in providing comprehensive reports on revenue collected from the cruise ship industry and to what extent the growing numbers have benefited the BVI's economy. Additionally, reported collections such as sea passenger tax and tourist arrival levy also capture revenue originating from outside the cruise ship industry, making them more reflective of the broader tourism industry than the cruise ship industry. The ECLAC report goes on to note that while the two major objectives of engaging in tourism are maximizing tourism revenues and employment, a phenomenon has arisen where governments and tourism authorities seem to focus on maximizing the number of visitor arrivals and presents that figure jointly with the number of overnight visitors to represent success in the industry. The report said, quote, "This procedure does not take into consideration the large difference between the spending of a hotel tourist as compared to a cruise ship visitor." Researcher in macroeconomic and sector studies at ECLAC, Mr. Michael Hendrickson, reflected on this phenomenon as a panelist on the Caribbean Tourism Organization's Diversifying Tourism Program.
I think our vision must be focused strongly on value addition. I think for too long we have been focusing on maximizing the numbers of tourists to the region without doing the analysis in terms of what is the average spending of those visitors. And I think more attention needs to be paid to value addition to maximize the return that we are getting from the sector. And that would obviously mean that we have to move up market in terms of our tours or handicrafts, which would entail capacity building, technical skills. I mean, for example, you go across the region and you find handicraft makers. A lot of them have natural talent, but they need something to tip them over, to reach a tipping point where they could provide a very refined and intricate craft. And I think we need to get into that. Only between 3.4 and 13.5% of expenditure is from the cruise sector. And actually 82% of discretionary spending is done on board the cruise ships. I really think that the region is not optimizing the returns from the cruise sector. And that is something I think we need to look at, to develop linkages with our agriculture, to do more onboard provisioning of fresh foods, local vegetables, our jams and jellies, our handicrafts, and critically, our creative talents, our musicians, our artists on board those ships providing services and earning a decent income. I think that is something we need to look at. So there needs to be a whole reimagining of what the cruise sector means for the region.
The report acknowledged claims by cruise ship companies who say that their product offers great opportunities for visitors to explore a tourism destination and possibly return for a land-based overnight holiday. Junior Minister for Culture and Tourism, the Honorable Luce Hart-Smith, shared similar sentiments in a recent interview with our news desk when asked to reflect on the benefits of the cruise ship sector to the BVI.
Because it's always an opportunity to use the cruises or the folks coming on the cruise lines to see a bit of our territory and entice them to want to come back and spend more time. The benefits for sure would be our local economy in terms of our taxi drivers. They benefit from providing the tours to the visitors, taking them around to the beaches and island tours, etc. And also our stores. I know the stores are complaining, but sometimes it's a good day, sometimes it's not such a good day. So I would say there are some benefits to our local or small businesses, I should say, those who are catering towards the tourist with their gifts and their locally made products, and also the opportunity to push our culinary arts, because they do eat sometimes at our eateries. So there's opportunities. We just have to find ways, additional ways in which to enhance their visits when we come. And there are plans, of course, to enhance the visitors' experience here in the territory, whether they are cruise passengers, day trippers, or overnight visitors. And there are plans in place to enhance our tourism product. There's always opportunity to enhance what we have. And as we speak, and there is a meeting scheduled for next week where, as you're aware, the Craft Alive is managed by the city manager's office. So I was invited to that meeting, to attend a meeting with the Craft Alive vendors. So of course, there'll be some discussions about how we will move forward with the Craft Alive, how we could find ways in which to enhance its attraction to the visitors that come, and even the locals may want to stop by and purchase gifts. So there is going to be a meeting on Wednesday afternoon with the Craft Alive vendors, hosted by the city manager's office. And we'll go from there in terms of the discussions. And hopefully the discussions will include how to attract more visitors, how to enhance their products, displays, etc., and make Craft Alive come alive again, in a sense. So I look forward to that meeting.
The report warned of potential economic ramifications of cruise ship visitor-led tourism products, asserting that if cruise ship visitors substitute hotel or yachting tourists, any tourism destination suffers a major loss in tourism receipts and direct and indirect employment. The report adds that the increased market share would then result in a loss of tourism earnings and tourism employment, as cruise ship visitors spend less per visit than hotel or yachting tourists. In 2024, the question remains, what is the true value of the cruise ship industry to the British Virgin Islands? Jacka Wooding, 284 News. And viewers, with that, we take a quick word from our sponsors. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Start the year off with more speed, more downloading, more savings, and more fire. CCT Fiber Internet gives you the speed you need to keep the whole family connected.
Packages starting at $119 with speeds from 300 megabytes per second.
Super fast, unlimited downloads, even more reliable connectivity, plus free live streaming TV for the family to enjoy. Sign up for the absolute best fiber internet service in the PVI, CCT Fire, and pay no installation fee. Plus, get CCT Live TV for free. You deserve more. Get more with CCT. Life Unlimited.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with news that Deputy Secretary in the Ministry of Environment, Natural Resources and Climate Change, Mr. Mervyn Hastings, has said that a vendor, Mr. Sylvan Penn, does not have a permit to operate. The statement came after claims by Mr. Penn that he was being forced to move from his current location at the BEEEF Island Beach by officials. Hastings was at the time speaking to JTV's Kathy Richards in a televised interview.
We do know that all the beaches, the main beaches in the Virgin Islands that they were using would have been King Garden Bay. That would have been the most popular tourist destination beach in the Virgin Islands. After we had Hurricane Irma and Maria in 2017, a lot of the facilities in King Garden Bay were destroyed. So it took them some time to come back. So I do believe back then that they wanted another beach to venture to. Bruceville would have been an option. Long Beach Island would have been another option. I think a decision was made to charter people. Well, charter is not the word. To cater and allow people to go to taxis to go to Long Bay. So obviously it needed if anyone knows that there's going to be a lot of people on the beach, anyone's going to want to set up a little facility to accommodate these people. So that's what happened. I do believe in the past, only, as far as I can remember, only 2 vendors were actually given permission. When I say permission, written permission to actually vendor on the beach. Over the past 6 years, from 2017 to today, so 7 years, I think we have a count of 7 vendors on the beach. That's what's happening today. what drove the need for a beach management plan in the government or in the Virgin Islands was that in 2020 we had what we had called a beach policy was passed in 2020. And what that dictates is that all beaches in the Virgin Islands have a management plan.
Hastings, while discussing the government's beach management plan, said only 2 vendors were given written permission in the past to sell at the location. He explained that all the vendors except for Penn currently have temporary permission from the government to remain on the beach, as the government is going through its beach development plan. He said vendors were asked to sign an agreement with the government for this to happen, but Penn refused.
So people were asking us, why did we start with Long Beach Island? We started with Long Beach Island because we saw the need to develop a beach management plan, starting there because we see what have happened to King Garden Bay.
What happened in King Garden Bay?
Have you tried to go to King Garden Bay when there's 2 or 3 ships in to try to get a spot on the beach to sit down if you don't want to reach a beach chair or you don't want to walk through an umbrella? There's almost 0 space on that beach when the ships are in. It is not very accommodating for our overnight tourists. It is not very accommodating for our locals during the week if they want to go on that beach. We have to understand that the BVI government does not want to stop and facilitate business owners in the Virgin Islands. But it's our job to make sure that the beaches in the Virgin Islands is comfortable for everyone. Meaning you and your family can go on Beef Island or King Garden Bay, and if you decide you want to put on your own chair, your own towel, that you have the right to do it. And that's what we want to do.
In other news, the Community Foundation of the Virgin Islands has announced that $110,000 in grants from the popular VI Community Fund has been awarded to organizations that provide direct services in one or more of the grant's focus areas, such as youth programs, entrepreneurship, and/or environmental protection. Ron Grant has more.
Caribbean Museum for the Arts is using the funding to continue to connect students with arts from around the globe, fostering inspiration and engagement through its Artist in Residence program. Coral Oceanic Restoration Education Foundation received a grant to train and educate youth on St. John through a coral nursery program, which will focus on how to build, clean, and maintain the coral nursery, education of corals, diseases, invasive species, and environmental impacts, how to maintain databases, and any additional dive training certifications needed to complete the coral nursery work. Grace Ministries received grant funding to provide a program with ongoing support for community children by assisting them with homework, providing access to computers and printing, and assisting with school projects. The program will also work to foster financial literacy and environmental awareness through field trips and various projects. Nana Baby Children's Home received grant funding to build a therapeutic garden to provide an outlet where children can learn new skills by planting seeds, gardening, harvesting food, and learning about sustainable living. In addition, the garden will help children develop social skills, manage their mental health, and spend quality time with other residents. Rotary Club of St. Thomas East Eco is using the funding to enhance the original Arbitrum established in 2005 on the Ivana Eudorican High School campus. The project will focus on repairing and updating the site and creating an outdoor classroom space where students can engage in tree research and become tour guides. St. Thomas Swimming Association is using the funding to provide 500 swimming lessons for children ages 4 to 18 old. Learning this crucial skill will decrease their risk of injury, provide lifelong recreational opportunities, and open up future careers in the marine industry. United Jazz Foundation received grant funding to support an after-school initiative for junior and high school students with a focus on using music as a tool to enhance students' skills, including music writing, notation skills, and the ability to express personal stories through their craft in a professional recording environment and public space. The Youth Empowerment Project in the British Virgin Islands is using the funding to support an innovative model of youth workforce development in the BVI with a focus on hospitality industry. Youth ages 15 to 18 will be selected for paid internships as youth counselors, participate in seminars that develop soft skills, be introduced to the hospitality industry, and be mentored by industry professionals. In partnership with CFVI, Popular Inc. established the Popular VI Community Fund at CFVI with an initial donation of $100,000 in 2022. This initiative focuses on the well-being of the communities that Popular serves on St. Thomas, St. Croix, St. John, Water Island, and Tortola. They said, and I quote, "The purpose of the fund is to support the philanthropic interest of Popular and its employees in the U.S. and British Virgin Islands, specifically to enhance services from non-profit organizations that are focused on youth education and economic empowerment, such as vocational training and employment support, or environmental projects."
On Friday, Caribbean Cellars Limited opened its third location in Port Purcell. Ron Grant visited the opening ceremony and filed this report.
My name is Kevin Foy, the General Manager of Caribbean Cellars, and we're here today in our new location at the Port Purcell location, which is our new retail store. We got this new location, one, because we know there's a marina that's actually going to be coming on stream in this area. Plus there's a lot of development that's happening in the Port Purcell area, and we wanted to be able to service those clienteles in that area. Plus those customers that live on the eastern end that don't always be able to turn around and go back to our Wickham's location. Now they don't have to go all the way back around. They can stop at this location on their way going home to East End, or coming from the eastern side of the island. They can stop here one time. So this location is going to provide some relief for our store, but it's also going to bring a lot more fresh air. It's a lot more different. It's a lot more open space. So it'll be a little different, but both stores will definitely bring what's needed. So some of the key stuff that we're gonna have here, as well as our other store, but more so like our rosé selection. As you can see, we have a wide range of rosés. We also have a vast amount of wines, starting from entry level all the way up to more expensive level wines. More importantly, we have a vast champagne selection here as well. As you can see, we have the Ace of Spades, Dom Perignon, as well as sparkling wines or Luc Belair, stuff like that. So we have a Vouv and our Moet Ice. We also have a range of different beers, but more so spirits, which obviously is a high seller for our local consumption. So you have a vast amount of the Brugal, a good amount of the Hennessy selection, which we have some limited edition Hennessy bottles at this location as well. We also have the light up bottle. You probably can't see that well, but the label actually lights up. So we have some special edition Hennessy's here as well. So we also have the NBA edition, which is the Hennessy's a proud sponsor of the NBA. So all you Bimari Hodge fans, you can come here and get your NBA Hennessy bottle from this location as well. Once again, thank you to the BVI community, because this couldn't be possible without you guys. Thank you for all the patronage over the years that we were able to open this new location to continue serving you guys a lot more. You can definitely come here. We encourage you to come here and see our wonderful customer service assistants. We're going to be open here from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. here at the Port Russell location. So once again, guys, come out, come see the new store, give us some feedback, give us some ideas, and just let us know what you think. And we look forward to seeing you, and look forward to serving you here at our new location. Thank you.
Viewers, before I sign off, I want to invite you to Yos Lime and Dine, a new initiative of the BVI Tourist Board on the beautiful island of Jos van Dyke. The next lime is tonight, January 27th, with the New Horizon Ferry departing West End Ferry Terminal at 6 p.m. and returning at 10:45 p.m. Patrons have a total of 15 locations to choose from, all of which are evenly spread across the island. Persons who make reservations will be charged only $20 for the trip, while those without reservations will be charged $30. For more information, interested parties can call 442-1700 or send an email to joslimandine@bvitourism.com. And viewers, that's it for today's news roundup. Be sure to follow us for daily news updates at 284media.com, like us on Facebook at 284media, and 284BVI on Instagram, X, and Threads. I'm Jaka Wooding, and I will see you again next week, so have yourself a safe and enjoyable weekend. Goodbye.